Hey friend, welcome to my podcast, The Fit Soul. I'm your host, Amy Ramsey. In this podcast, we will be discussing soul-filled strategies to unleash your confidence, increase your energy, and all the things healthy lifestyle. If you're a Christian woman who is ready to reach your God-given potential, walk worthy of your calling with abundant joy and energy, girlfriend, you are in the right spot. I mean, you only have one life to live. You might as well maximize it. Buckle in, and thanks for listening.
Okay, picture this. A holiday season where you feel empowered over your choices rather than food having power over you and your health goals. Wouldn't it be amazing if you could decipher the reasons behind mindless eating, procrastination, even those all or nothing moments? Today in this podcast, I want to share with you a way that you can create your own roadmap for success and have a healthier holiday season. I'm so passionate about this. And one of the reasons is because of the last several years for me. I shared in the last podcast I recorded about how sister put on some weight. I put on some LBs over the last two holiday seasons. January came, typical, structure came, routine came, got my health back on track, got rid of the sugar, did the thing. But it was hard. And I purposed this past year, I'm like, I refuse to do that again. And I'll be honest with you, I have been on a journey this year of my own health and really learning behaviors, why I'm so excited about this, actually. I just have become a certified high performance coach. I made a massive investment in my business, in myself, so I could even take the science behind, the principles behind why we do what we do and how do we disrupt that so we can do better. And I've been able to really utilize my own life and coach myself a lot this year. And I want to share with you common self-sabotaging behaviors. I want you to be able to identify your triggers and start to create for yourself. Okay, yep, that's what I typically do. And then I want to give you a few coaching questions to ask yourself this year. Now, this isn't about, hey, let's all jump on a brand new nutrition plan till the end of the year, and get a lot of routine and a lot of structure right here and right now. No, I don't think that's a good idea, honestly. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that if that's where you are. But for most people, that would be really, really, really stressful, and they wouldn't be able to commit themselves to it. What I want to do is provide support and structure around why you're doing what you're doing so you can make different choices and you can finish this year empowered and finish this year strong. In fact, in my Walk Worthy mentorship, we are providing accountability so you can make mindful choices during the holiday season, and then jumping into strategy for really solidifying those healthy habits in January. So you can check out the Walk Worthy mentorship and come join us. If you want that extra support, that extra structure, extra help, girl, I will give it to you. I'm offended to give it to you. Okay, so when we start to think about triggers, what's triggering you? I just want to very quickly go through the most common triggers, which would be emotional stress, social settings, where you are, what's going on, time, being so busy. There's a lot of times during the holidays, a lot of people are just off of their structure, off of their routine, and they're busy. So time is always a thing. Another one is going to be negative self-talk and those loops, and that just has its own set of actions that go along with it. And then another is truly unrealistic expectations, which is why I've created a more mindful approach for healthier holidays. Healthier holidays. Doesn't that sound good? Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, I have strolled into January 2 years in a row, and I'm a health and nutrition coach, and I work hard to keep my weight at a healthy weight. And so, to walk into January thinking I had kind of not done so bad, but maybe I did, and to step on the scale for the first time was surprising. It really, really was. And the older we get, oftentimes it just takes longer to lose the excess weight. And that's what it did 2 years in a row. It just took longer to get that extra weight off. And I purposed this year, I will not do that again. In fact, I want to know why. I want to know why so I can break those patterns. And I've been working on breaking patterns and disrupting the self-sabotage and taking it deeper. And I have found success. And I want to share that with you today. Okay, so roadmap for you. Oh, by the way, I think I forgot to say, hey, thanks for joining me. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Fit Soul podcast. And I'm giving you these from the perspective of an integrative nutrition health coach, which I am. And then also I am now a certified high performance coach. Oh, so excited about that because there's science that goes into creating the clarity, the focus that you need to really move forward and move through this. So I want to encourage you that you can make better decisions, and I want to help you with that. Okay, let's talk about self-sabotaging behaviors. What I want you to do is to think through which of these apply to you. I'm going to go through about 10, and all 10 may apply to you. Maybe just 3 do. But how many ever do apply to you? What I want you to do is, number 1, I've got some rules here. Number 1, there is 0 guilt or shame or condemnation associated with this. That will not help you do better. I'm going to repeat that. You feeling bad, if I'm about to read through some things and you feeling bad about it, is not going to help you to overcome. It's not. But what I am going to give you in this is I'm going to leave you with some coaching questions that you can ask yourself where you really can overcome and make better choices. Okay. So mindless eating, just eating without awareness. Eating without mindfulness, I would say 99.9% of the population would fall under mindless eating. It's overeating. It's exceeding how many calories you need for your body. And it causes weight gain. It causes us to gain fat. And we do it. So mindless eating. I'm just going to kind of run through these and then let's go back and let's kind of unpack them, okay? Number 2, procrastination, delaying healthy choices or exercise. I mean, there is a lot of people that will delay any healthy eating and any exercise for like this entire season, right? Which is why January is such a big push for health gyms and diets. And you'll see all these coaches online with all these awesome classes and such that are coming up. So procrastination. Number 3, binge eating, consuming large quantities of food in a short time. Yours truly is guilty of this one. And, each year, okay, look, it is confession time. Each year I have for sure one thing that I binge on, and I'm not going to do it this year. Okay, I will not do it. But one of the things, I have a friend, Mitzi Cordell, she's so sweet, and she makes the best ever Toffee, and she knows how much I love it. And she brings me some every single year, not just a little bit, but like kind of a sweet little bag full of it or a tin full of it. It's so good. No one else in my family loves it as much as I do. Excuse me, except for my mom, actually. And for the most part, I get free reign of that. Like I get to eat it all. And oh my gosh, it's just like the perfect crunch. It's the chocolate that she has on it is absolutely perfection. I mean, everything about it is so good. In fact, my mouth is watering thinking about it. But that binge kicks in. In fact, I've got the funniest ever podcast. It was recorded on, January 15th this year. And it's called Handling Bad Choices and Getting Out of a Beat Up Cycle. handling bad choices and getting out of a beat up cycle. Go listen to that story about the cookie that I wolfed down, but that's another story. Okay. Number 4, self-deprivation followed by overindulgence. Oh, I'm guilty of that. This also is this would be a whole nother podcast, but this is what a lot of women are stuck in, myself included, tightening up Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday, and then Friday through Sunday is the weekend and enjoying myself. Tightening up Monday through Thursday, Friday through Sunday, enjoying myself. And it's this vicious cycle oftentimes that leads to gaining and losing the same 3, 4, 5 pounds every single week, but never really making progress forward. Okay, number 5, ignoring hunger and fullness cues. Really not even understanding when you're hungry and what the body has associated with that, or even when you're full. It takes about 20 minutes once you eat for it to register in your brain that you're actually full. But even how hunger, I believe that we need to reframe hunger, that it's not a bad thing. In our culture, in our society, we think, oh, I'm hungry, I need to go eat. And we'll talk about this in the masterclass that I'll be hosting coming up. In fact, I forget to tell you all about that. I've got a masterclass coming up on healthier holidays, and I would love for you to attend this. We're going to be diving into this, and I've got a lot of information to really help you create your own success path. And we're going to talk about how to really mitigate and manage this at a deeper level. So go register. It's at thefitsoul.com/masterclass. It's absolutely free. In fact, I just finished making the healthier holiday survival guide. If you go and stay for the entire class, at the end of it, I'm going to give it to you. It's really great. You're going to want that free gift. Oh, I just grabbed a sip of coffee. Sorry about that. Okay. So, knowing your hunger cues, kind of understanding what is okay. So hunger, number 1 is like the first level would be, oh my gosh, I'm so full. My tummy hurts. I can't eat another thing. And the number 10 would be that you're starving, that you will eat anything. Like terribly, beyond hangry. You're completely like at your end, right? For us to be healthy, the goal really is to stay between a 3 and a 6 on the hunger scale. So a 3 is a feeling of feeling satiated. A 6 is slightly hungry. So we really do have to reframe hunger and staying full all the time. Okay. Number 6, negative self-talk, engaging in self-critical thoughts. What happens with that? You're not going to feel motivated, and you're going to probably continue self-sabotage to your goals. All right. Number 7, avoidance of accountability. So avoiding a couple things. Here's some things that I just want to kind of give you on the side. Avoidance can show up in many different ways. One of the ways that I realized over the last 2 years, as I told you, during the holiday seasons, I just fell off the wagon with my weight. One of the things that I realized was I started to avoid stepping on the scale. I kind of didn't want to know. And when I did step on the scale 2 months later, I was like, what? Okay. Avoiding accountability. So really the scale is a tool of accountability. I used to have a really unhealthy relationship with the scale. I've healed that. And now it is a tool that I can track and measure my progress. Circumference measurements is another way. Food journaling, keeping up, tracking macros. Those are all tools that we can use for accountability. Another form of accountability is having someone hold you accountable. And anyway, by avoiding the accountability, it reduces your commitment to your health goals. All right. Number 8, lack of planning. Failing to plan meals or to plan snacks And then what happens? You're running through the drive-thru, choosing convenient foods. Even healthier, quote unquote, options for convenient foods and snacks are not as good for us. They cause inflammation. They're more in calories. They have a lot more calories. So now we're back to that game. So, lack of planning. All right. Number 9, impulsive decision making unplanned, spontaneous choices. Back to that podcast I just told you about of me and the cookie. You'll have to go back and listen to that. It was one of those impulsive decision makings that totally regretted after the fact. Okay. And number 10, and I talked about this last week on the podcast, is the all or nothing mentality. This is extreme perfectionistic thinking. And I believe that so many of us struggle with this, and it's holding us back, and it's sabotaging your success. I want you to hear me with that. I want you to think about this, and I would love for you to go and listen to that podcast that I just recorded, because what happens with this is we have to do it. It has to be perfect. And then when we don't, oh, never mind, to hell with a handbasket. Like it's that all or nothing. And in our conscious mind, we know that perfectionism is unattainable. We know this, but there's something about, I think there's some cultural things here that women are they strive for that perfectionism. And it's so discouraging. And I do believe that this is one of the biggest ways that you might be self-sabotaging. My clients, I just coach a lot of women, and after coaching them and knowing my own behaviors, this is probably my biggest one. And the more I'm dialing into, is this behavior all or nothing? Amy, are you right back to things have to be perfect? And if they can't be just right, then never mind, you're done. And the more I'm leaning into this, learning myself, I'm giving myself space to think, am I doing this again? Like, is this, oh my gosh, I'm headed right back to all or nothing thinking. It's been so powerful in my life this year. So I'm pausing on this one just a little bit, just because I really want you to consider where this can show up in your life. And what I would love for you to be able to do is to take this holiday season and think about which one of these self-sabotaging behaviors do you struggle with? Have you struggled with in the past? Do you consistently struggle with it? Or is this a holiday season? Either way, but to take this as an opportunity to grow. How can you grow right now and set some intentions right now to have a healthier holiday? Again, I'm diving deep into this masterclass. Come join me, thefitsoul.com/masterclass. And in my mentorship, we're talking about this a lot. And by the way, I'm going to give you some questions. I've got some questions I want you to ask yourself in this. Okay. But I'm also offering something that it's not really, you're not going to be able to find a link about it, except that maybe a discovery call link. And I'm going to be talking about it on the masterclass, but I'm offering something really new for those of you that are wanting a higher level of accountability. I'm offering a midlife functional fat loss program that is going to be with me and 2 other functional coaches. All of this is midlife based. We're all in our 50s, and we're passionate about helping women achieve success. And we're partnering together with the functional fat loss testing, the functional testing, along with high level of accountability. So if you're interested in that, I'll put the discovery call link here. You can book a call with me and see if it's a good fit for you. Okay, so let's go through a few questions that you can just ask yourself so you can actually grow this season instead of getting on that all or nothing mentality and waiting again until January, because I know you don't want to do that. I know. All right. Number 1, identify the triggers. So we talked about some basic triggers, but you can even think about when was a time that you felt an urge to, like I shared with you the story of the toffee, eat all the toffee, right? And make the unhealthy choice. What was happening around you? In that cookie story that I was sharing with you earlier about when I went through the drive-through and I picked up the cookie, and it's a whole podcast again. That's on that one from January 15th, 2023. It's Handling Bad Choices. I had to stop and reassess what is going on. Why did I make that choice? And when I did, I found some interesting things. So ask yourself, what was going on? What was going on as far as, was it stress? Was it, were you in a situation to where it was a social setting and you just didn't manage yourself well? Or maybe you felt some peer pressure. Were you super, 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 super slammed, super busy? So what was going on? Okay. Number 2, have emotional awareness. This kind of feeds into that, identifying that trigger is how do you deal with your stress? That's the big question, is how do you typically cope and deal with your stress or challenging emotions? Are you like me and a lot of the ladies that I talk to, and we find ourselves in the pantry? And then you're standing in the pantry thinking, am I really hungry? And what am I doing in here? I want you to be thinking through, what are the recurring thoughts that you have during those moments? What actions or behaviors do you notice yourself engaging with when you're faced with a trigger? What are your patterns of behavior? Start to assess, start to notice. Can you identify a consistent pattern in your responses to certain situations? Practicing mindfulness and being present. Again, I'm going to be leading my mentorship through the end of the year. We're going through each week of being mindful and adding new mindfulness practices. There's some slight things that make all the difference in the world to bring conscious choices instead of mindless eating. Excuse me. So, the 5th thing here that I just want you to think about is, I want you to anticipate challenges. I want you to anticipate some struggles. And think through, where might you see some challenges in sticking to your health goals? When might that be? What might that look like? I just returned, actually last night, from the time I'm recording this podcast, I just returned from a trip that my husband and I planned. It was our 10-year anniversary, and we planned for a while that, you know what? We saved all of our points on credit cards. We've been saving our money, and we're like, we are going to go do the bucket list Pacific Coast Highway trip. And it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing for 10 nights and 11 days. And I just got back. And what I want to tell you, oh my gosh, it was too long. Number 1, that was just too long. I'm not trying to speak negatively over it, but in regard to this podcast and this information that I'm sharing with you, when I was planning it, I knew it was going to be a challenge. I didn't have access to home-cooked meals, home-cooked foods for 11 days. That's a long, 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 long time. I also knew I wasn't going to be on my exercise regime and protocol. But I was able to anticipate that. I was able to do some pre-planning around that. And that was just super helpful. So I want you to think through, what challenges might you have this coming holiday season? And you can apply this to any season. What can you do to motivate yourself at a deeper level for your health and wellness goals? How would you staying true to your health and wellness goals over the holiday season, how important is that to you? Well, like I said, I'm really sick of the cycle that I've put myself on the last 2 years, and starting January, feeling my energy level's low, my body doesn't feel good, I don't feel good in my own skin because of the extra weight, my clothes don't fit good. For me to remember that's a motivating factor to do better this year. Okay. And number 7, we want to make sure that our values are in alignment with the things that, with our long-term vision, with our long-term goals. So the choices that you make now matter. Just keep in mind your vision. I want you to write it down each day. What does that look like? And then the last 2 things I think are really, really, really important for us to discuss as we are wrapping up this podcast. So the number 8, there's so many more things I want to share. But number 8, what I want to share with you is learning from your setbacks. One of the greatest tools you can give yourself is when you succumb to a trigger. Learning to deconstruct the trigger and the self-sabotaging behavior. What did you learn from that? Learning to fail forward. This is one of the most powerful tools that you can use to help you. And so as we're like kind of on the cusp of the holiday season, I want you to really think about that. You're about to have a lot of opportunities to really practice some of these new tools, to grow in this. And anytime we grow, it's hard. Anytime. Growth gets us out of our comfort zone, and it's always difficult. So as you're thinking about this, what I really want you to do is think through when you have a setback and to think, hey, what did I learn from that? What can I do differently next time? And coach yourself that way. The last thing that I really want to share with you, the importance of support systems. Having better systems, better strategies, getting more empowered because you're around A players. Being around other like-minded women that have the same desires. It helps to shift your perspective. It really does. It helps to actually improve your personal level of performance. A couple questions to ask yourself is, do I know what to do? Do I know what to do to improve in this area? Am I around the right people to help me succeed? I know in my own life, I have sought to put myself, quote unquote, in the room, to put myself around people that are doing it. They're doing the thing. To put myself around have healthy friends. It matters. It absolutely matters. So, with that support systems, my mentorship, that is what we are doing. And if you even want more than that, I do one-on-one, but I've got a new program that we're starting that includes some functional lab testing. But right now, we are adding support through this holiday season so we can start the year strong. And I want to encourage you that you can do this. You can do this, but get yourself the support that you need. Probably we don't do as good by ourselves. I was about to say, you're probably not going to do it by yourself. Last year, that's where I made my big mistake last year. So again, I had 2 years of overindulging during the holiday season. And then January got here. And in the first year, so last year, the year before last. So last year would have been 2022. The year before that, 2021. Okay. High stress. Oh my gosh. That was a fall of many, many, many disruptions in my life. So there was that stress component added onto it. I had hit clinical burnout in December. And so I was at a low place. But I knew that I was going to do a really difficult challenge, 75 hard. Andy Frisella's challenge, 75 Hard. I was going to start that on January 1st. I knew that. So I decided, well, I'm going to throw the baby out with bathwater and I'm just going to do whatever I want to because I know I'm about to hit some diet and restrictions and get myself back in check come January. And I did. I did the challenge. It was hard. It's not for everybody. It was incredibly hard, but I did it. And of course, because of the nature of that challenge, I definitely got my weight under control. It was hard. It was very hard. And so this year thought I was going to do a little bit better. And I decided I was, but I didn't have the right systems in place and I didn't have enough support. In fact, I was talking to my friends that are, in the program and they're coaches as well. And they were saying, nope, well, we need it too. See, when you start to level up in your life, you actually keep yourself around A players. You're like, wait a minute, you're doing this? I want to do that. I want to do better in this area. And so you start to seek them out. So that is my heart and soul, is to create community around that of women, like-minded women. We love Jesus and we want to be a good steward of our body, good steward of our health, good steward of our spirit, our soul, all of the above, because we're a whole woman. So, all right, let me know which of these strategies that you want to implement this season. Hit me up and let me know. Share this. And you know what? Would you do me a favor? Like seriously, a huge favor. Would you go and leave a review? I haven't asked that in a while. And they're kind of a big deal in the podcast realm, is to leave a review, a 5-star review, and to share it. If you would do that, that would be amazing. And come join me on the masterclass. That is thefitsoul.com/masterclass. Register. It's free. And you should also be able to find the link in the show notes. So thank you so much for being here. We can do this. Let's really set strong intention to overcome the self-sabotage. It's a process. You've got this. I'm here to help you. I'm here to support you. All right. See you next time.
Girlfriend, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I'm so honored you come back every week and that you share the Fit Soul podcast with your friends and family. Every time you share my podcast on Instagram or Facebook, I do a little happy dance. Make sure you subscribe to the Fit Soul podcast where you'll never miss an episode. You can go to Podcast, Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify and subscribe so you'll never miss an episode release. And just know, I truly love bringing you excellent content and great guests to provide you motivation and faith inspiration to help you walk worthy. And one of the ways you can help me is to go and leave the Fit Soul podcast a review. If you have just a moment, would you please go over and leave a review for the Fit Soul podcast? Thank you again. I love you. And here is your reminder. You are worthy. Until next time. Bye-bye.